Hi everyone, Mo here, and this is my art journal for Get Messy. This time I actually worked in a sketchbook. When I did the sketchbook revival, I made that into my sketchbook for the month of April because I was really busy painting for a solo show and then another Art in the Park show. So I did not have time to do a separate sketchbook and art journal and all of those, and that was also more in the lines of sketchbook, so that was that. But this month I actually got done my an art journal, a whole art journal and a whole sketchbook. And of course I was sick because I was overworking myself to practically to death. However, I did enjoy my art journal as I always do, and let me flip through. This was from before Get Messy. Messy May was announced by Get Messy, and I was just doing random stuff. But once that got announced, and I decided that I'm going to try to make my own complete art journal with the prompts that they provided. And so I wrote down the prompts. I made a highlight of sorts for the prompt that was mine that I taught using the prompt. And this is a very handmade scrap paper, all kinds of papers that I was going to get rid of that I didn't get rid of, and just made it into sketchbook. So from about here, I'm declaring that it's my Messy May art journal. And Kaylee had attached a photo of her, and I think that would have been probably a much easier way to go, but I didn't have a photo handy, so I made a quick sketch of my face, and there it is. And I decided to translate the prompts absolutely in my own way without how do I put it, following, copying, taking inspiration from. I just went off with the prompt. I didn't always check the teacher artist's response for the day, but I do hope to catch up. I believe Get Messy is keeping Messy May available until the beginning of July, so I would love to go back and see what they did. There is always so much to admire in how people see things, do things, teach things, and I enjoy that. However, for my own interpretation, these are all just my own. And this was the class I taught, all my definitions of courage, and then after that was done, I had something more to say about courage, and so I added those. And then this was adventure. I have no memory of who was teaching what class. I just remember that the first one was Kaylee Gray's that I remember, and I of course remember the one that I taught. However, in some places I wrote down the prompts themselves. And this was something I made a reel for Faber-Castell, and I cut it up and I stuck it here because somehow I just wanted to. And then there was freedom. Freedom was one of the prompts. And I think this was not part of any prompt. However, I wanted to do it and I did it. So there was what was this? Cultivation? I believe cultivation. I might have to refer back to the prompts here. Yes, cultivation. And then there was mess. And again, this just happened to be on the page. I love when such synchronicities occur. This was a piece of paper, and this was at the back of the paper. It said embrace, and embrace mess. It just worked out that way. This is not pre-planned. And when that kind of thing happens, it feels like, we are always creating, and there is always a creative source working with us whenever it finds us working. And oh my god, that's a tongue twister. Anywho, I had a great time slapping paint all over the place. And which one was this? This was Spark. Yeah, this was a tracing paper. Oh, the face I drew of my daughter in my May sketchbook. I wanted to use a tracing paper. I found a piece of tracing paper and I decided, okay, I'm going to just trace that. And because there was a butterfly in the original piece of paper, and I cut it out. So now it left this gaping hole that was not flattering, and I wanted to have the impression that this is a full sheet of paper, whereas I do not want to hide the butterfly that I cut out. So my solution was to just add that tracing paper this way. And these were chipboard. I was cleaning house and I found this whole big 12 by 12 sheet of chipboard stickers. I believe these were from, I don't know where it was from, but they were lovely regardless. They look like they probably are Maggie Holmes. She does very pretty stuff, and I'm guessing it might be Maggie Holmes. If it's not, it's not. I just don't know. These are ancient items that I have, and I never let go because I couldn't, and I didn't use them either until now. So here's my butterfly. I wanted to keep her wings free. I don't know. It just, butterflies make me so happy. I didn't color it because I just didn't. And this is a drawing that my daughter did, you and me, of she and her friend. And I believe this was, the prompt was connection, and it was one of those pieces. I was cleaning out her backpack and this popped out. So again, it was a perfect addition to the theme. And on the next page, I have written what I have read. When I art journal, I write a ton. Like I do, it's usually less art and more journal, and that's how I like it. If that is what is giving me meaning at the moment, then so it is. And this one is, yeah, well, I'd never thought of myself as a perfectionist. I thought I was just trying to do a good, precise job. And well, that is like a little bit obsessive and maybe perfectionistic. So, yeah, we have the biggest blind spots when it comes to our own personalities. And I didn't realize I was a perfectionist, but maybe I was a little bit. Anyway. And what prompt is this? Habit. Yeah, I love the, like doing something, a little few lines, a little blob of paint here and there. Nothing important, significant, life-altering, just, acknowledging that there is a love of playfulness that I want to explore. And what was this? My God, that's a lot of writing. Oh goodness. Home. Yes, home. I did wanted to, actually did watch this one. And the teacher's response to the prompt, and I loved it. The way she did it, I think she did cut out a house shape which she filled out with magazine cutouts as a place of comfort. But mine was more complicated. Yeah, I guess that would be the right word. So I thought I would do that, but then I ended up doing this, just coloring it purple and writing with acrylic paint and a old bit in a brush. And what was this? Goodness. Kindness. Yeah. This was when I was starting to feel rather sick, like it was still not sickness, but I was still feeling so tired. So I was like, I want, soothing colors and self kindness. I was still giving myself a reminder that it's time to rest up. Flow. I think this is, everybody experiences flow in their own unique way, and that's just my personal opinion. Like, a lot of the time I have heard flow being described quite literally as a river flows, meandering and flowing. That it's not static, it's a dynamic force. But the more, especially at the end of all the paintings for the exhibition, I felt like I thought I was already in a state of flow when I was painting them. I think I mentioned this in one of my vlogs, earlier vlogs, but by the time I reached the ninth of the 10 paintings, I was operating at a different level of flow. So it's like, it's like a video game. You keep playing and you unlock more levels that you are not aware of till you get to that level, till you have cleared the obstacles and made it that far. It's kind of like that. So for me, the increasing feeling, increasing realization is that flow is not linear. That flow is a spiral. Like I am going up in a spiral, up in a spiral. But the thing is, if you have ever seen, like when we were kids, I grew up in India. I don't know if you have such weird toys in this country or anywhere else in the world. There would be like a metal pole, and there would be a monkey. The monkey, if you have to keep twirling the stick, and the monkey would go up, and the moment you stop, the monkey came sliding down. So it's kind of like that. The more you keep doing the work that you are doing, whatever your work is, it doesn't have to be painting, it just could be anything that speaks to you. And that, for my mom, it's gardening, and I can tell that the bliss that I see in on her face when she's doing that, it's that is also flow. It's just looks different, feels different for different people. You do not stay at the level you left off. That is the thing. You come sliding down like the monkey on the pole, and you start over. But if you can keep that momentum going, and I'm not referring to working non-stop, because physically that is impossible, but to keep up a practice where returning to a sense of flow is a lot easier. Anyway, so that was my take on flow, and this is belonging. Yeah, like belonging, I recall, like, I believe it was 2019 or 2020 when I did Get Messy, the year of Get Messy, and I was doing the season of belonging, and I believe my take on belonging has changed since. So I have to go back to that and see what belonging meant to me at that time, what has changed, what hasn't changed, and all of that. And again, it's a lot of lettering with just paintbrush and some leftover paint, etc. Nothing fancy. And this page, I loved the page so much I just left it. I didn't want to put anything on it. So this was connections. Oh God knows, I don't even remember. Whew. Belonging, yes. Okay, so this prompt was yes. Again, I used some of this chipboard. I don't use these chipboards. I never use them. That's why they're still there. But they're still sticky, nice. The adhesive didn't dry out. It was good quality, and I love the artwork on them. So I just added them. Yes to soulmate connections, and soulmate connections, as in you meet a friend, and then it's like they speak your language. It's kind of like that. So yeah, and then documenting, and there was very little to say because that camera said a lot of it, and I still have to put photo, and if I don't have a photo, I will have I'll draw a picture of me and my youngest and put it in here. We have such silly faces. Sometimes we make silly faces together, and I think we have so many of those on my phone that just need to be printed out in the right size. Yeah, and yeah, it's how I interpreted less. This is the prompt for less is worry less, fear less, and enjoy more. And yeah, it was about the time that we spent together. And oh, this one was nature. I loved it. I didn't do a spread. I just did, this side is nature, and then this side is words. Oh yeah, words, lots of words. And this is just written with graphite pencil. What is this? Love. Love. I learned about feng shui quite by chance, and I found it interesting. So the person was saying, like, there are certain areas. I mean, if I am explaining feng shui wrong, please forgive me. I am not an expert. I've just learned about it and I was fascinated, and so I put it here. And she was speaking about activating certain areas, corners, directions of one's home for greater harmony, greater like easier communication, etc. And she was talking about what works and what should be avoided, etc., etc. So I kind of drew some pictures on little ATC sized watercolor paper, and I stuck those down. Oh, this one is contrast, and what is more contrasting than black and white? And also the pain of black and white thinking, like this or that, and moving this or that to yes and, and there are also those conditioning of, choose the middle ground, the golden middle, and then thinking like, is gray, which would be the middle ground of black and white, the best place to be in all cases? Or is it very unique to a given situation? So that was a lot of pondering on my own end. And so I wrote down black, white, gray, choose wisely. So discernment, it's a lesson in discernment, let's just say. What is this? This must be magic, yeah. Yep, that's my spiel on magic. Don't want to bore you by reading it out. And this was bloom. Yeah. Because I was born and spent the first half of my life in a different continent, and then I find myself in an entirely different culture and country, and everything is different. And the common saying that is that bloom where you are planted. It's like not all of us get to bloom where we are planted, and sometimes we just have to gather our roots and survive while seeking fertile soils to give us home. Yeah, again, such journaling is very, very personal and different for everybody, but that is what that brought to my mind in that moment. And yeah, the failure, my God, like my biggest fear growing up, and this was also part of my upbringing, like as if mistakes are not allowed. But the truth is, when mistakes are not allowed, you don't do the things that you are afraid of making a mistake doing. that limits your experiences, that limits your life and your world, and eventually that's not a good thing. So when I first read a very simple biography of Thomas Edison, the thing that stood out to me the most is like, I haven't failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And in my mind, that this man was just the right man, the person fit to light up the world, you know, because he not only just invented the light bulb, it's just this idea of perseverance and not looking at failure as the common definition of failure we are taught in school, at home, in the beginning by society, and to looking at it as feedback. Okay, so this doesn't work. Like, what do you call that? If I could remember the right words at the right time, this would be a much better experience. But yeah, what is it called? It's like, you take check off the alternatives, like, there is a word for this, there is a phrase for that, like, oh my god, I will not remember it right now. It will come back, just not right now. Yeah, this is my idea of mindfulness. I don't know what the mindfulness experts would say about this, but this is how I practice my mindfulness. It's just returning to undivided presence here and now. Like, keeping attention in one space is a struggle. And sometimes I would very enthusiastically go to find just that one thing that I need to find, and then forget what I went there to find and do 100 other things, and then come back and then, oh, I didn't find that out, let me go back and find that out, and then the cycle repeats. This is also tracing paper. This was like a coloring book. There is a very good artist who does these surreal paintings, and I do not remember her name. Of course, that would be ideal to write down that I was tracing it, because I was trying to be mindful, actually. Again, another one of those synchronistic, what do you call it, happenstance? I don't know. Let me see what this prompt was. It was like very deep. Self. Oh yeah. Like, what is our self-image sustained by? A self-image is usually not an inside-out deal. It's usually, our self-image is informed by everything outside of us. And so it's kind of like, in a way, the picture is like this person cannot really move. In some way, she's getting brainwashed. There are lots of things attached to her. I don't know what the artist had in mind when she painted it, but looking at it now, looking at my tracing of that, I believe her name is Camilla Dierico. She has coloring books and she's an amazing artist. So yeah, it's like the constant brainwash where we are not allowed to see ourselves for who we are. There is no scope of pure, uninterrupted, unhindered discovery of the self. It's already the direction has already been altered by the time we reach a certain level of consciousness where we are trying to let the world know what we like and what we don't like. And I believe this one is Serenity, and I love the Serenity Prayer. I believe this is a prayer that is used with some form of addiction, but I feel that the prayer itself, this is just my personal opinion, does apply to a far greater psychological awareness than just any kind of addiction. So yeah, I refer to this prayer a lot, that to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This discernment piece of this is a lifelong process. I have seen my mom, who is older than me, would still make certain mistakes, and she was, oh, I wish I knew. So yes, it contributes to our learning to discern. And yeah, I don't I I don't have the words to say any more than what the prayer itself says. And there is awe. I'm always in awe. I'm like a kid. Every little thing, it's like so wonderful to me, and sometimes my family almost finds it annoying. Like, what? Are you 2 years old? You know what? It is a blessing to have the vision or the sight or the awareness, the wonder of a 2 year old when you are no longer 2 years old. And this one is celebrating, and I'm just going to read this out. Celebrating small wins, showing up, carrying on, not stopping, picking up and moving on, not giving up, not chasing, surrendering control, standing in integrity, staying grounded, speaking up, not backing down, accepting self-worth, and valuing what I do more. Yeah. So that is my art journal flip through with the prompts of Messy May from Get Messy Art Journal. And that's that. We will see you in the future with another art journal flip through at some point of time. Bye.